Hey Quad Bros, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here and I hope you guys are doing well. The Enlisted devs recently did a Q&A over on their Twitch channel and on YouTube as well, I believe. And in case you missed it or you don't want to go watch it and you know run through it, I'm going to quickly go over my thoughts on it and kind of what was said, the important little tidbits and such in it. So if you do want to watch it yourself, the link for it is down in the description below to check out yourself. So before we get into that, I do want to quickly say, like, the devs listen to feedback all across the board. I know they watch my videos and listen to what I say and even come to my Twitch stream. I do want to say, like, I'm very critical of this game. I think we all know that. And I've said in the past, you know, this is coming from a place of really caring about this game. And so if I come off as a jerk sometimes to the developers, I do apologize. That is not my intent. Because I know how hard you guys work and I know how hard it is to do what you guys do. I know that firsthand. So, you know, again, if I come off as a jerk, just understand, like, it's just coming from frustration with the game, and really caring about this game and wanting it to be as good as it possibly can, both for you guys, the developers, for me, a player and a content creator, and the players who spend a lot of time playing this game and really want it to be the best that it can. So again, I apologize if I ever come off as a jerk. That is not my intent, and I hope I haven't, right? I hope I haven't offended anyone like that. So anyway, to get into the game and the things that were talked about within the game. Number one, more campaign locations. They mentioned Silo Heights was a lot of fun for them to work on and to do. It was cool to bring a kind of different environment to the otherwise urban environments in Berlin. And I agree. I think that was a great thing to do. I think Berlin can feel very samey over time just because of the fact that it is just kind of the same thing. It's all these, it's Berlin, right? It gets very samey after a while. So bringing those kind of very bright, vibrant, colorful areas is a nice change of pace. And I like that a lot. It comes with a good game mode. They mentioned that they were also going to be bringing more game modes to the game. You know, they said, hey, we've added 2 new game modes in the past 2 major updates, and we don't plan to stop doing that. So I'm guessing we're going to be getting something kind of new in this upcoming major update here in like a month or so. So that'll be pretty awesome as well. This may be a translation error, and maybe I'm misunderstanding exactly what they were saying, but they did say that they were going to be doing balance patches every 2 weeks, and they had ramped up their analytical processes and their kind of data gathering processes to get better data. So cool. Really glad to hear that. I hope that they do balance patches every 2 weeks. Again, that seems weird because that really hasn't been what they've been doing in the past. But hey, I'm down. Like, if they do balance patches every 2 weeks, I would love to see that. I'd love to see the meta of the game get shaken up every once in a while and have things changed around and balanced around. I think that's a very great change to the game. They mentioned competitive events. So like the Steel Fortress event that we had, they said that they would be doing more of those. I don't think this surprises anybody. Jumping to more interesting stuff. Sorry, I'm looking through my notes here. Oh, right, suicide bombing. So suicide bombing, they said they were going to increase the delay before the bomb explodes to make suicide bombing less effective. I honestly don't know what the hell that means. I don't know how that would ever nerf suicide bombing and how that would ever affect suicide bombing in any way, shape, or form. Like, unless the bombs won't go off because you're dead, but that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know how this does anything. So I don't know. They at least said that if that doesn't fix the issue, then they will look at other options. So I mean, they're thinking about it, so that's good. I mean, this has been an issue for like 6 months now, so I really hope that they get this fixed very soon. It's a very annoying issue, so I actually think adding parachutes was a bad idea because it just encourages essentially suicide bombing. There you go. I said it. Gray zone. They said that the gray zone camping was definitely an issue. They said that future missions will have better zones where players won't be able to capitalize on kind of these really powerful positions where nobody can really touch them. Good. That's definitely an issue. And they said old missions will be updated as well. Good. They said if that's not enough, more will be done. So it's being focused on just like suicide bombing. They mentioned, they were asked about branching campaigns. And they said, quote, now is not the time to talk about that. Which to me is really interesting because I feel like that's kind of saying like, hey, this is something that we're working on or at least thinking about. And we're not comfortable talking about it at this time because it's in the early stages. So maybe they are working on something like this. Maybe we're going to be seeing some sort of campaign overhaul in the future. I'd love to see that. I think the campaign system is not as good as it needs to be for a full release of the game. So hopefully we get to see that in the future. Customization. They said they have plans for it and it will have its own announcement in the future. But the developer that was on stream specifically said that they want to do a focus on historical accuracy. They were very clear on that, okay? I want to make sure that I'm very clear on that because they were very clear on that. They said specifically there will not be any pink unicorns in the game. Everything will be historically accurate. It will be based in the time and place that it would have been in history. So we're not going to be seeing any ridiculous Fortnite level skins, right? You're not going to get killed by Thanos running around with an M3A1 submachine gun or anything like that. So, we're good there, right? We're going to have historically accurate camouflages just like we already do in the game. They mentioned bunny hopping. They said they didn't want to limit player movement in any way, but they also said that realism is really important to the game. They said shooting while jumping is something that is going to be looking at, and they said that switch to prone stance might be limited in the future, which, oh my god, please, they need to do this. I really hope they do this and make it have an animation that will slow it down. I think it's ridiculous how you can just drop to the ground instantly while shooting and then have perfect accuracy while falling. It just looks ridiculous, and it does not cater towards a good gameplay experience. I think it's just kind of dumb. I think being able to bind like brace to your right mouse button to aim and brace at the same time after going prone is just really silly. Like it just looks dumb. It's not accurate. It just caters towards a really weird gamey kind of play style, like a very arcadey play style rather than a realistic one. So I hope they do this. And you know, KO Fox or anybody that's watching this video, if you take one thing away from this, please let it be that, because that really needs to change, and I would love to see that change. Speaking of KO Fox, I think it's really important to listen to KO Fox. Like, of all of the developers, it kind of seems like, and I know KO Fox is not a developer, he's like a community helper or whatever, but of all of the developers, like, KO Fox seems to be the best, like, player out of all of them, at least from what I have seen. And I'm not saying that the devs are bad players by any stretch, but, like, typically devs don't really play their own game a lot because, I mean, you don't have time, right? You're developing the game and you get really sick of it because you spend 8 hours a day working on it. So I don't really blame them for not being amazing at the game. But, like, KO Fox seems like he is actually very good at the game, and so I think you guys should really listen to the feedback that KO Fox is putting out there. I think that would be a very, very good idea for the developers to do. So there you go. Shout outs to KO Fox out there. Otherwise, guys, some other stuff that they kind of mentioned. They mentioned that some questions are going to be answered in coming posts, so like more campaigns, stuff like that. They're not going to talk about that in a Q&A, and I don't think they should. That deserves like a big announcement in and of itself. Previous generation optimization, stuff like that. Yeah, sure, of course. Animations, all that stuff, AI, all that is going to be added. They mentioned that fresh campaign, or they mentioned that they wanted to always add fresh and interesting campaign levels and content. I mean, that's kind of bullshit, man. I mean, you guys know that, and I know that. I mean, you're not going to come out and say that, obviously, so I guess it's not really fair for me to complain about it. But, I mean, we know that you put in filler levels. I mean, you can't tell me with a straight face that the M1 Garand with an AT rifle launcher or whatever that doesn't actually blow up a Puma, which is the lightest vehicle, like, you can't tell me that that is, like, new and interesting content for 3 silver orders. Like, come on. Like, really? No. Don't try to pull that on me. I can see through that, okay? We all see through that. The players see through that. You know that that's BS. All right, let's not try to, you know, to lie about anything like that, okay? Anyway, sorry, I'm reading through my thing here. Oh yeah, they do read feedback. So it's mostly on the forums. If you want to get your feedback heard, guys, go to the forums. That's where you need to be. That is where they read all of the feedback from. They mentioned that that's their #1 social site. They do read Reddit. They do read, you know, other platforms and things like that. But it's mainly the forums. So go on the forums. Stop derailing conversations on the forums. Let the devs get good feedback. But that is mostly it here, guys. I don't have anything else. It was a very short dev stream. As for my thoughts on the dev stream, #1, do this more often. I mean, this was great. I'm really glad this happened, but it needs to be longer. It really, really needs to be longer. This was like 25 minutes or something at most. Like, that's ridiculous. It should be an hour at the least. Put time aside for some developer. I don't care who it is. It doesn't even need to be the same one every other week or something like that, or every month. But put time aside for someone to sit down and do this dev Q&A like every 2 weeks or every month or something like that, because it is very helpful. It makes players feel heard. It gives insight into what the developers are working on, right? You guys don't have a game if you don't have players, and players don't have a game if there isn't a game. So we need each other, and I think there should be very clear communication about what is going on, and so we don't get blindsided by stuff like the semi-auto nerf, right? I think that the polls and stuff that are being done, the mines and everything, I think that is good. That's great. I'm glad that we're doing that. Do more polls, but most of all, guys, just do these Q&As more often, right? And make them longer. Put the time aside. Put like an hour aside and just work on this Q&A and do a Q&A. That's all you got to do. Little nitpicky stuff from me. Turn your game audio down. Like, if you're gonna play like game audio and play a game while the two devs talk, that's fine. Like, I'm cool with that. But like, you need to turn the audio down. I mean, like, people were complaining in chat that it was too loud. I think they did towards the end or something like that. But like, I mean, do that way earlier. That's just kind of like a, I don't know, professionality thing. I mean, again, you guys haven't done this very often, so I don't really blame you on that. Yeah, make it longer. Audio. Those are really my only two things. Oh yeah, don't like, I don't know. I felt like a lot of the answers are really vague, kind of, I don't want to say BS answers, but kind of like dodging answers or taking like really like softball questions. Like, we know that the AI is going to be worked on, right? That's not a concern for people for the most part. Like, yeah, some people might be like, what's going on with the AI? But like, most people know the AI is going to get better. We know the game's going to get optimized. Like, we want to know about true issues in this. Take this opportunity to clear the air about serious issues that are going on in the game, like gray zone camping and suicide bombing. Those were great. Those other kind of side things, like, come on, nobody cares about that kind of stuff. Like, everybody knows about that already. I don't think that that's something that needs to really be discussed. All right, that's it. That's all my feedback. Thank you guys for doing this Q&A. I hope you guys do more in the future. I appreciate it. Listen to KO Fox. He's a smart cookie. He knows what's going on in the game. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below on this Q&A and my thoughts on it and your guys' thoughts on it. I'd love to hear about it. Come to the YouTube stream today or on Thursdays going into the future to talk about Enlisted, talk about this Q&A, and talk about the development of the game. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. And finally, you can also follow us, twitch.tv/HeyQuadro, from Monday to Wednesday, same thing, and join our community Discord. All of that stuff is down in the description below. So again, thank you so much for watching, and without anything else, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you next time.